from
Yeah,
Crossmint.
you got it. Hey,
Did I
how's it going?
really?
Yeah, you
Okay,
got
good.
it. I've heard some bad butcherings of it for sure, but that's pretty good. Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Nischay. I lead product strategy at Crossmint. Have been here for a couple years. Was at Coinbase previously, doing some work on the institutional team there. Um, Crossmint is building NFT developer tooling and infrastructure with wallets, payments, credit card, and minting solutions. And I suppose in one word, maybe a hyphenated word to describe Crossmint is ease of use.
All right, amazing. And then I think just the last member that we have up here is TEAMZ. So, oh, TEAMZ, you're just a listener. I'll invite you to speak up. See if they'll come up. Awesome. Could you introduce who's hiding behind the TEAMZ icon?
Hello everyone, this is Tim from TEAMZ. You guys hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. Nice to meet you. This is Tim from TEAMZ. We are a Web3 accelerator company based in Tokyo, Japan. And now we are basically doing three business. One is focusing on this accelerator program, and second one supporting the local Japanese Web3 startups. And at the same time, we are hosting a Web3 big conference every year in Tokyo. And this year, the conference is happening April 13th and 14th in Tokyo.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for that, Tian. Okay, so I'll do a quick intro of Astar as well, because we have a lot of members here. Just one sec. Teams, could you mute yourself? I'm getting a little bit of feedback here. Thanks. So a quick intro with Astar. We're hosting a space, and the one reason we're hosting a space is we have a really cool event with TEAMZ, and we want to do a hackathon with it because for the events, it's always good to have something for developers as well. So quick intro with Astar. A little background with Astar. It's we've been around for over 2 years now, part of the Polkadot ecosystem with our friends at Biforst. We've been building quite a bit there. Big focus in Japan, but you can see a lot of global projects building on Astar. What we're focused on here today is Astar ZK VM, and we want to see builders try out this new solution. And what Astar ZK VM is, it's a layer 2 solution built on Ethereum, powered by Polygon CDK. So it's really cool technology. I think recently one of the highlights that you've seen a lot of the projects that were very interested in Astar try building out new themes on Astar ZK VM. So I think last week we had Pokemon cards being turned into real world assets, so you can do trading, everything on blockchain. Week before that, or maybe a few weeks before that, you saw Japan Airlines trying out tokenizing real world experiences in tourism. So the whole idea here is that through this hackathon with these different teams that we have here, we'll see more of these consumer facing solutions. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about. So what I'll do is maybe a quick intro with the event that's coming up. Well, Teams, you kind of started that, but so we have an event that's coming up, and this hackathon will be the main track for developers. And if I'm not mistaken, Tien, I think this year it's Web3 and AI. It's like the Web3 AI Summit, correct?
Yeah, this year the whole summit theme is going to be Web3 and AI, because we are believing there's still a lot of possibility between these two industry. At the same time, actually in Japan, Web3 and AI is the government and also the enterprise startups two keywords. So we do hope through the summit conference, people can talk about the possibility between these two industry, and that's why we put the theme here, Web3 AI Summit Tokyo.
Awesome. Yeah, I've noticed like I kind of thought AI would be like it's definitely changing the industry as we know it. But kind of seemed like a narrative at one point. But I know going to East Denver, I saw that there was like a lot of AI conferences and teams that are building it, strictly AI. There's a lot of interest in blockchain. Um, I don't know if anyone of their speakers had like kind of their thoughts on where AI is fitting in with blockchain. But if you do, please hop in.
I have an idea, or like I think that the general topic is like blockchain is the solution for AI's problem of not knowing where the source is coming from. So that's in various segments. So for one is like authenticity. So if someone has a private key and the private key maybe already has like some reputation on chain, then signing certain works with that private key would actually then say, okay, that's actually that's my creation, and someone else that, for example, you can just like use my voice, and then now when I'm speaking, put it into an AI thing, and then trying to make myself saying something that I wouldn't say. But if I'm not signing that with my private key, then it wouldn't be seen as from me. That's from one, and for two, it's also like sources. If AI generates stuff, like with blockchain technology, we could and I think there are teams doing this already, help the AI bots and also people that are using the AI tools to know where the source is coming from. And so we have cryptographically a history of what was feeding into the model and what was used.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. So like AI as a part of controlling yeah, that's a big ethos with blockchain, right? Having control over your data and all this. Um, I could see quite a few applications for that. That's really neat. All right, so maybe a quick overview of what the hackathon is, just for everyone that's here. So one cool thing is by joining the space and listening in, maybe you'll get some alpha into what the projects are interested in, and then maybe get that prize. But what the hackathon is itself is the main focus is building consumer-facing applications. So this could be anything. This could be game, socials, really anything that you consider consumer-facing. Really, the only thing is that it should be built on Astar ZKVM or the testnet. So we're expecting like really cool cutting-edge technology, like for example, like I think ERC uh, 6551 or other things that we've seen like tokenized assets would be really cool. A big part of this would be existing products or projects that already have a community that are interested in a star. They would qualify for this. So just bring your project to a star ZKVM and connecting with the existing community would be a great way to enter this hackathon. There's several prizes. We have a star, graph, but also Crossmint, Bifrost have really cool prizes themselves, and even Startail has joined in, which will provide like RPC endpoints for any developers that sign up. Tian, is there anything that I missed that you wanted to add about the hackathon?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the hackathon introduction. I do want to add a little bit more. It's the hackathon itself definitely is very interesting because it starts before the summit. The summit coming April 13th, 14th, but we start before, like all the startups. It doesn't matter you from Japan or you from outside of Japan, all welcome to join the program with us. Everyone can join online. And at the same time, when we compare with, because the demo day is going to happening on the summit day 2, which is going to be April 14th. So this year we do have a lot of great VC partners join. Some of them, they have a quite very nice portfolio. They're all actively investing in Web3 projects. So during the demo day, we are going to invite most of the VC partners join, as doesn't matter, judges or as a guest. So there's a lot of great opportunities to pitch in front of those judges and also VC partners. So this is number one point. We do have this great VC partners join during the demo day. And the second one is when people come to Tokyo, final we join the demo day, right? So this is a great opportunity for everyone launch their business or localize their business in Japan, because Tokyo, the Japan market is quite different with any other markets. The enterprise is really doing Web3 and they are trying to build the, let's say, kind of like the ecosystem for Web3. The government is very, very supportive. Actually, today we just had a meeting with some of the governor here. They do have a lot of great policy for supporting not only local Japanese Web3 startups, also global Web3 startups. And they are very, very positively support not only the tax issue, also they also can support the office or try to make the connection with the local enterprise. So this is the second point I want to mention is it's not only event, it's also a great opportunity for localize all the great startups business, Web3 business in Japan. So this is the thing that I want to add it.
Yeah, awesome. And I think you did mention like one really cool thing that's unique to the Japan market. Something that we noticed in Astar is everything kind of starts local, but it also moves global. Like you can kind of see that with everything. So like for example, I said Japan Airlines earlier, right? It's kind of a local company, but they're spread across the globe, and they want to bring these tourist experiences to everyone. But that's kind of a running theme that you see in the Japanese market. And then I guess another thing I wanted to add is for all the developers that can join Demo Day, whether that's online or at the event, another really cool thing is that this will be a chance that you get a face-to-face meeting with Polygon Labs, Astar, and members of the TEAMZ team. So like that's like an added bonus for the hackathon. All right, thanks for that. Maybe what I'll start is with Nishay. I think you might have to leave the call early. So could you do maybe a quick intro of what Crossmint is and what you're looking to see come out of this hackathon?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, we're super excited to be a part of the hackathon. I think what Astar and a lot of the ecosystem partners here are building is really enabling a much more diverse, Web3 ecosystem to be built. A bit on Crossmint. So we've built a developer tooling platform that enables really easy to deploy experiences for users, for developers, and enterprises around NFTs. What that means is sort of three key product categories. One is around minting as a service. So we allow developers and enterprises to mint and deploy NFTs at scale without needing to hold any crypto, without needing to think about gas for their end users, all with a few simple API calls that any Web2 developer can interact with. And we've kind of embedded this with features like dynamic NFTs, metadata updates, private NFTs. So really thinking about how do we bring the next evolution of utility-focused NFTs to market with a simple tool of minting, simple suite of minting tools. The second is around acquisition. How do we make it easier for users who've never touched crypto to actually acquire an NFT? Our flagship product, and really where Crossmint got started, was with a credit card purchase tool to allow users to buy an NFT with a credit card. But we've really expanded the checkout experience beyond that to things like cross-chain payments. So using assets or tokens that users have on other networks like Ethereum mainnet or even Solana to buy an NFT on Astar zkVM, for example, with those assets without needing to bridge really at the point of sale. So thinking about how do we make it easier to put NFTs in the hands of users. And finally, around the wallet and account experience. So when people are interacting with NFTs, again thinking about these utility first use cases, many of them will never have had a wallet, and stuff like a MetaMask or Coinbase wallet is maybe good for crypto natives, but for enterprises who are starting to experiment in the space, they need something that's a really easy to use wallet and account experience as the kind of foundation of their application. So we built embedded, invisible MPC and account abstraction wallets that we're starting to deploy in some of these both enterprise and Web3 focused use cases to really abstract and simplify what the onboarding experience looks like for users. And so I think these three pieces kind of together make a holistic experience for how developers can build apps on chain. Like you can go and build an NFT application with minting, purchasing, and wallets, all from just Crossmint, and have made it in a way that we've really focused on enterprise adoption, making it so that it works with their compliance teams, with their like kind of meaningful control systems that they have, but as well for like long tail developers, like people who are building just day-to-day applications to really drive a lot of the innovation that's happening in Web3. I'll pause there, but that's kind of the overview on what we're building over at Crossmint.
All right, amazing. And I will say, like the team, we've been working very closely together, and we kind of see Crossmint as like the easy gateway for, I think, like you said exactly right, enterprises, but also just anyone that's not used to Web3 to kind of hop in and try it. And then I guess the first really use case you can see that you guys quickly put out was supporting Yoki Origins, where you can just go on there and use Crossmint to mint a GRQ NFT. So you could just be a tourist, use your credit card, and then be plugged right into the blockchain, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's exactly how we think about it. Like we want someone who may be navigating to a website or a Web3 application to be able to interact with it without even knowing that Web3 is powering it under the hood, because really that's just a back-end technology that the enthusiasts on this call can get excited about, but for the average everyday person, they want to just interact with cool experiences online and be able to get the benefits without needing the complexity.
Yeah, awesome. And I know you have to leave in a bit, so like I did have one question that kind of popped in my head there is,
Yeah.
because you're working with these different levels, like enterprises, users, and everything, where do you see enterprises most interested in using blockchain, like to connect with their community, their customers, however you want to see that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the most I would say timely place that they have been focused is around really customer engagement, marketing, and loyalty type use cases. And there's some interesting trends as to why this has been timely for them. Traditional kind of marketing channels are becoming more and more expensive. There's more regulation around traditional digital marketing means, and so they're looking to new and innovative solutions like blockchain to drive high ROI and really engaging customer experiences in a way that's like more exciting for the user, more aligned to what they're interested in. And so they're really starting to experiment. I would say many of these enterprises have a mandate to experiment with Web3 as they need to understand how they can drive higher ROI, higher engagement around these use cases. So we're seeing NFTs be used as sort of the foundation layer for like loyalty cards and loyalty passes that really span from anything of like restaurants where you get a loyalty pass, you go in person, you get that NFT updated based on your consumption and interaction at the restaurant or coffee shop or something, all the way to like the largest Fortune 500 brands who are experimenting with similar themes but at a much larger scale with the goal of putting NFTs, wallets in the hands of millions of end users.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, thanks for that. Because I remember when I was first looking at Crossmint, you guys have a beautiful landing page there, but you can see like the many projects that you guys are working with, like just across all industries. I think there was like Smirnoff, Atari, and one that I remember was like the basketball team, Sacramento Kings, which is
Yeah.
really cool, like fan engagement, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome because we get the privilege to help be thought leaders with these companies across a variety of different industries, and there's definitely nuggets that are shared across, but we also get to see how this is implemented in a sports context, and then how it's implemented in kind of a traditional consumer goods context, and so all that to say, I think a lot of the innovation is still coming from the Web3 devs themselves. They're thinking about how to push the technology forward, and hopefully Crossmint can help be a bridge for some of those developers to then share those ideas with some of the enterprises that we're working with too.
All right, awesome. I guess that's why we're having this hackathon, because that's where we see the
Exactly.
future, right? Starting with the developers to make something cool.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
all right, awesome. Maybe we could move on to let's get the graph to talk. So, Simon, um, maybe you could do a quick intro for the graph. I think we're all familiar with it, but quick intro with the graph and what you guys are working on right now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the graph is, as I said, hinted before, it's an indexing protocol that indexes blockchain data. So the original kind of problem statement was looking at the blockchain. Let's say Ethereum, even like it has, like as of now, or it's even growing, like 3 terabyte of archival data. And when we want to build front ends, or actually making sense out of that data in general, like we cannot just like walk through all these transactions that we see on the blockchain and look at these. What we need is kind of an indexing, and the graph facilitates this with a technology that we call subgraphs. And the subgraphs are basically a description of the data that we want to index. So to say, we can define a database schema, and then also logic, we call it mapping, how to fill that schema by looking at the blockchain. So what that ends up with subgraphs, for example, for Uniswap. So Uniswap has subgraphs, and index the data for them, and then it feeds into their front end so that we can have these charts that they have, like how the TVL developed, but also how which tokens are there, which were the historical prices. So also like NFT projects use subgraphs, like for example POAP, so that we know like which owner has which POAP, and how many POAPs does that owner have. And also it goes into governance. So we have, for example, Messari that also looks at governance across the ecosystem. So they write governance subgraphs for different DAOs. So for example, we can look into the ENS DAO and see which proposals are up there. So that's basically the graph, indexing querying blockchain protocol, or like in simpler terms, it's a way to organize blockchain data.
All right, awesome. I think data more and more is becoming well, it's always been very important for blockchain. That's kind of why one reason that we're all in Web3, ownership of your data and your assets. But it's becoming more and more widespread recently, say over the last few years. One thing maybe before going on is just as part of this hackathon, because you guys have quite a big bounty here, what are you looking to maybe what are we looking to expect developers to build with the graph? Maybe some interesting things that you see developing in the Web3 industry.
Yeah, sure. I can speak on that. So the low level usually of the bounty, or like the entry, is we want to see people using the graph in whatever they build, be it like a new completely new dApp. So we'd like to see the smart contracts deployed on Astar, and then like having a subgraph that indexes that smart contracts and then feed that into the UI. That's kind of the classical use case. But we're also always excited about new use cases, and maybe if you look a little bit also, that since Astar is a CK rollup, what would be very interesting is to play around with these use cases that I think would be cool to have some sort of contract lives on Ethereum, and then some sort of contract lives on Astar, and then kind of this cross communication with the CK rollups is much better than with optimistic rollups. And then maybe have a subgraph that indexes, like a subgraph on Ethereum and a subgraph on Astar that indexes both, and then bring that back together into cool UI. But also, I have to say, especially since we're also looking at AI, two things that I would be very excited about with AI. So people try to play around with AI-generated queries to the graph. That's already something going on, but what I think would be a level up actually is AI-generated subgraph development. So if one team wants to look at this, there are like on the host service there are 5,000 subgraphs currently, and more often than not we have like a one-to-one pairing with a set of smart contracts, and then a subgraph that indexes those contracts. And I think I have the gut feeling that if we feed that information into a model, that we can come up with a very cool subgraph generation AI tool. So that would definitely be a big win. Another thing that I'd like to highlight here is like the graph is not only for on-chain data. We can also index off-chain data with that's on IPFS or RWeave. Although one could argue that data on RWeave is also on-chain, but anyways. But I think again for AI use case that would be interesting. Maybe if there's some, I don't know, like maybe a smart contract where people can submit data to that's uploaded to RWeave or IPFS, and then like have a subgraph that indexes this data and then that feeds that data into an AI model. I don't know. These are just rough ideas. I hope that helps for ideation.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I never really thought of that though, like using AI to start building your subgraphs, because you see this across all industries, right? Whether you're creating like, a business plan or coding or even like copy for marketing, right? It's a good way to start and you can build from that. So that's a great idea.
Exactly. And the cool thing is that like I look at a lot of subgraphs, and there are like some patterns. And we recently looked into how we can bring these patterns, how we can make that more easy, because a subgraph you write basically in assembly script, so it's Turing complete language, but it's also it's similar to TypeScript, but also has its own intricacies. But then having an AI that tries to find these patterns in all the subgraphs that have ever been developed, and then maybe come up with cool stuff that looks at the new contract and say, yeah, if the event name is this and that, then we assume that it is creating an entity, or if the event name is like delete user, then it actually deletes the user from the database. I have the feeling that we probably would have fast and cool successes here.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I didn't think we'd start talking about AI. I mean, I guess it's Web3 and AI is the whole idea of the summit. So, but that's really cool. Let's get Christian to talk a little about Bifrost. I'm excited to have Christian here because Bifrost, we've had like a long history with Bifrost. We go back to Polkadot days, and we've built some pretty cool stuff. And now we're building stuff together on Astar ZK VM. But maybe a quick intro with Bifrost, what you guys are working on, and finally, what do you expect to get out of this hackathon? That would be great.
Yeah, you're right. We have started our collab with Astar like almost 2 years ago now. We are super excited about this new hackathon because it's the first hackathon, of course, based on the ZK EVM new network that Astar just launched. We collaborated in the past for other hackathon on Polkadot with Astar, so like with good results. So we are very happy to join this one. What is Bifrost? Well, Bifrost is first of all, it's a Polkadot parachain, so it's a layer 1 built on Substrate, powered by Polkadot, obviously. And it is a liquid staking protocol. We basically provide non-custodial, decentralized cross-chain asset that can be used not only on Polkadot, but on different networks. For example, Kusama, Ethereum, Filecoin, etc. So the idea is that users, of course, like being in a proof of stake chain, to secure the chain, they are kind of directed into staking their token they stake their token, they lock that liquidity in order to provide security, and for that they receive a yield, so they receive a reward. The idea behind the liquid staking protocol is to unlock this liquidity by providing users, stakers, a liquid staking token. In the case of Bifrost, we are issuing V tokens. So, for example, for those who liquid stake Astar on Bifrost, they get V Astar. And the idea is to give the chance to the users to use those V Astars cross-chain. So they can either decide to use it on Bifrost itself, on Astar, on protocol built on top of Astar. And the whole goal of this Bifrost participation, our presence into the hackathon, is to see what is the potential of this ZK EVM, the VStar on ZK EVM, and just to get back to your last question, like what do we expect from this hackathon? Basically, we would be like super happy to see and consider what are the use cases that are proposed by builders, by devs, for VStar on ZK EVM. As I mentioned, we had an history with Astar. In the past, it happened that builders created some concept, some idea of like using the Astar on Astar network on Polkadot. But of course, like the interoperability of ZK EVM opens up to a whole, cross-chain interoperability. If you remember, when we just started this call, I said that Bifrost can be summed up with the word interoperability. That's because even if Bifrost is a parachain built on top of Polkadot, it has developed a specific palette that allows the protocol and its asset to interact very easily cross-chain, so with other network, EVM-based blockchain, substrate-based blockchain. So the goal is to create Bifrost as a sort of one-stop protocol where user can go stake their asset, get the liquid staking token, and then go use it cross-chain in whatever actually they like. At the moment, we have several use cases for our flagship product that is VDOT, obviously being built on Polkadot. And yeah, for example, VDOT users can provide their VDOT as a collateral on lending market as part, for example, of the Omnipool on HydraDX. There are like several incentivized farming pools on protocol built, even on top of Astar actually at the moment, if I just think about ArtSwap at the moment. So use cases are there for VDOT, for other V token, and we are aiming to unlock those use cases also for VAstar minters and holders. Also because at the moment, I have the dashboard just in front of me, we have over 23 million Astar liquid stake on Bifrost, so it would be very interesting to provide an extra scenario, an additional use case for those VAstar.
Oh, amazing. I didn't realize it was 23 million. Wow.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, no,
like
that's really cool.
21 last week, but people are staking fast.
Yeah, no, that's good, right? And it's good for the network, but because I tried it myself, something that I thought was really cool is on the front of it or front end of it, it was pretty easy. You just you connect your wallet, liquid stake a Star, and it pops up in your MetaMask wallet on the Star ZK VM. But when I started thinking about it, because we have like a long history, there's a lot happening behind there, like that I think would interest developers, right? With Polkadot, XCM, two parachains talking to each other, like it's pretty complex.
No, absolutely. That's why we implemented this new palette. It happened like 6 months ago in October. We implemented this new palette. We actually create a standalone DApp to make this minting on EVM-based blockchain even easier for users. So right now, users can mint the Astar either on Bifrost app or the app called omni.ls. You basically go there, you connect, as you mentioned, your MetaMask or your Talisman, like your EVM-based wallet, and you have the chance to just click a button. The parachains interact with each other in the background. You don't need to do anything like no cross in, cross out of asset or weird stuff that can be complicated for newcomers, for people who are approaching liquid staking or just DeFi in general for the first time. It's all done in the background by the pallet, and you basically click the mint button, you accept the transaction, you pay the small fee that there is like to allow the transaction to go through, and basically you get your token in the wallet. It's that easy. That was like a very key point of the whole development of the asset, because it was a feedback that we received in the past. Liquid staking was cool, but was difficult to understand or to operate with. So that's why we try to do our best in order to make this whole process more simple and accessible.
Yeah, it's really changed from like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
the whole interface, right? Well, that back then I think it was like we had a dot campaign. You guys had the raindrop campaign, which was like very complex, and now it's just simple, right? You just plug it in. We can build around that. There's no going back and forth.
No, absolutely, and this is also applies to the the new ZK AVM like use cases that could be pulled with this new hackathon. That's the really whole goal, in order to make this asset accessible also for those who are coming outside not only the Polkadot ecosystem but also for example, the Ethereum ecosystem, and thinking about Polygon users. This is something that can be experienced by them as well. Of course, it depends from the like use cases, from the concept, the protocols that are thought and submitted for the hackathon. But we had in the past some like interesting ideas that actually turned out in as a like a real protocol with very simple UI, very easy accessibility, but that were like quite effective. So we hope to get the same. Like I would say that devs, builders are pretty quite free to build whatever they think is more useful for such an asset. So they can either, for example, go from a a way to implement some yield strategy, lending and borrowing market, even leverage staking, which is something that has been pushed on Bifrost end as well this month. It is like 2 weeks ago we launched our own leverage staking service in the app. This leverage staking is interesting VDOT and VKSM that are like our main asset at the moment. But of course, it's going to be implemented also on other assets, via Astar for sure. On the Bifrost app, would be interesting, to see if there is a way to implement such a use case also on the ZK AVM side. So we are pretty open to the creativity of builders that are going to participate in the hackathon.
All right, amazing. Thanks for that. We have a little bit more time here. I thought like if we had some time, I could just open the floor with maybe some open questions before we close the space. So I did have some ideas here, and I thought maybe just one easy question that we could start with would be, we're saying 2C applications, but what does a 2C application look like on blockchain, like in your opinion? And anyone can hop in to start. All right. Maybe maybe that was a tough question.
Well, it's either me or Simon, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess one thing that I just myself that I've been seeing is like to consumer,
Hmm.
We've been seeing like a lot of just right now, I would say like meme coins. So even though meme coins are kind of speculation, I'd like to see maybe how these meme coins will turn more into like a community sort of project, and how that can be an easy way for people who are new to blockchain to kind of break into it. Kind of how like Dogecoin at one time was very meme-ish, and it is a bit. But there's a real community behind there, and then hopefully we'll see like Dogecoin used in different applications. We've been talking about Twitter and Dogecoin. When is that going to get together? So that would be like a very to consumer
Yeah,
facing use
mm,
case.
I do think that actually, even like if meme coin are just meme, as it says the name itself, the fact that behind a meme coin, which is not like clearly a scam, because of course you have like those pump and dump meme coin that are like basically built in a day and they just lost another day. But you made the example with Dogecoin, but I can just to remain in the Polkadot ecosystem. Over these days, there is this trending topic. Everyone is talking about this pink coin on Polkadot. The interesting thing about it is that even if it's a meme coin and it's like is the manifest of it, like they are presenting itself, like the team itself is presenting pink as a meme coin, the first meme coin on Polkadot. The fact is that it is gathering some interest in terms of like users acquisition. Like there are 35, today I was reading 35,000 addresses that are holding pink at the moment, which is like the double of the asset that actually received pink in the first place. So it means that even if it's like a fun way to hop into crypto, is something that we should consider like in the future, because of course like blockchain is used a lot for very like interesting use cases, very high profile use cases. There are institutional investors, but to gather users interest, it's always nice to consider. So consumer interest, just to get back to your question about 2C, is important that you keep that fun part of the crypto of the project, that normal people that are not into finance, that maybe are struggling understanding, I don't know, leverages, futures, options, this kind of like high standard operability within crypto and blockchain ecosystem, can hop in, feel part of something, feel part of a community, and maybe that can be the first step into the crypto ecosystem. Then they can, for example, deepen some some topic. They can like try to understand more about it, but it's a good way to have people in. And I just made the example with pink because it's like the Polkadot ecosystem, it was like a bit off radar over the last 2 years of the like of the discussion about blockchain. People were really wondering what was Polkadot doing, what were parachains doing. I can assure you that we were building, we were working in the background, but this wasn't like well perceived from the outside. People didn't simply know that. And now with this, like this is just an example, but it's a way for like us, or like for the Polkadot ecosystem, to attract users, attract interest, and then show what is behind. So like the real tech and the outstanding use cases that Polkadot can offer using a meme coin as a hook. So it's something that I do consider positive for the ecosystem.
Yeah, it's kind of in a strange way. Meme coins, they've always been around, but before they were, I think they were purely speculation. But then you can see how, um, I think exactly what you said, right? The meme coins themselves have teams behind some of them. They're really looking to build the community and the tech and do something fun. So it's more launch your project and then build from there. And it's the easiest way, like just the fun names like Pink. I said Doge earlier, and then on Astar we have Haha, which is really kind of building a community. But like they're fun, right? You remember these names, and you remember the artwork that's behind it, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I mean, there's 10 minutes left. Maybe we'll just wrap up the space there. So what I'll do is let's just go around just for closing. Um, uh, Simon, is there anything you want to close the space with? What we can look forward to with the graph?
Yeah, maybe a little bit touching on the meme coin thing. I think in general, what's important to when we are in this on-chain ecosystem is have fun, and especially have fun building, trying stuff out, and experimenting with it. I think that's the cool thing here, and therefore hackathons are a great way to do it. And but also outside of this, keep having fun and happy hacking.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a big thing, having fun. Otherwise, you get bored with it and just kind of move on to the next thing. So making Web3 fun is important. Tian, did you have anything from TEAMZ that you wanted to share with the space before we close it?
Yeah, sure. Just welcome everyone join the hackathon. We all know, just like do agree. Let's do something fun, figure out the problems, try to use the opportunity, figure out the solution. We focusing on the point for Japan is there's not like huge developer builders community here. So we do want to use the summit or the hackathon as a platform connecting the Japanese builders with the global builders, especially for global developers builders. We really welcome everyone to join us in Japan. Use the great solution and work with the local partners, enterprise, and try to do some business in Japan. That is what I want to say at the end.
All right, amazing. Thank you. And Christian, any last words from you?
No, absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me today in this space and Bifrost to join the hackathon, just to to continue our long story collab with hackathon between Bifrost and Astar. I think that I was quite clear on what Bifrost is expecting to get from the hackathon. I do believe that there is like a lot of potential behind the Astar itself. It is something that the asset have demonstrated on on Polkadot. So I do think that the same potential can be replicated on ZKVM. There are a lot of very interesting use cases that can be pushed and that can be, of course, rewarded properly for this hackathon. And of course, like if I can imagine that not every builder that is going to join the hackathon has confidence with Bifrost or Viastar in general. So we are very happy to welcome them to our Telegram group on our Discord channel. They can just ask questions to understand better the asset. I would be very happy to, for example, share all the documentation regarding Astar in order for them to understand exactly how things work around Bifrost and how this can be, leveraged off with the hackathon on ZKVM. So that's it, and thanks again for having me today with you guys.
Yeah, amazing. And yeah, that's I think that's that's the big theme with this hackathon is more getting. Yes, we want to build something really cool with Web3 on Astar ZKVM that's consumer facing, but it's also just getting involved in the developer community. And usually the best spot to do that is going right into Discord, and it doesn't take long for I could say definitely 100% with the graph and Bifrost that someone would be talking to you. Same with the Star Discord here. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining. What I would say is the main goal here is to invite more people to join the hackathon. So it's easy enough to find. We'll post it right on the main timeline for Astar. But same thing with the graph, Bifrost and Crossmint. You can find links to the hackathon itself. So happy hacking, and we'll see you in Japan if you're at the event. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.